For task 8, we're talking about exponents, all the things you can do with exponents. So we're going to start with multiplying. When you multiply and divide variables, anytime you're dealing with it, we deal with each number and letter separately. So we're going to deal with all of the x's at one time. We're going to deal with all of the y's. We're going to deal with all the numbers. We're going to deal with all the a's. Whatever you have, deal with them all separately. So we're going to start with multiplying. When you multiply, add the exponents. We're counting up how many x's there are, or something like that. So here in these examples, you'll see that I have numbers and I have x's. So I'm going to deal with the numbers first. 12 times negative 3 times 6 makes negative 216. And then I'm going to add up my exponents. So this is 4x's plus another 2x's plus another x makes x to the 7. There are 7 x's there. That's it. That's the whole thing. Over here, I have a bunch of numbers and letters. So I'm going to start with the numbers. 5 times negative 19 makes negative 95. Over here, I have 2 x's and then another x, so that makes 3 x's in total. Here I have 4 y's and another 12 y's, so that makes y to the 16. And then here I have 1 z and then plus negative 9z. So 1 plus negative 9 makes z to the negative 8. So that's all pretty straightforward. When we divide with exponents, we're going to subtract the exponents. So over here, let's start with the fraction 12 over 36. So remember, we're reducing fractions. What are they both divisible by? 12 and 36 are both divisible by 12. So 12 divided by 12 gives us 1. 36 divided by 12 gives us 3. And that's just doing greatest common factors, right? Divide by whatever the greatest common factor is. I'm going to have to erase a little bit because I wrote on top of the numbers I need to see. When I look at the x's, I've got x to the 6 divided by x to the negative 6. So 6 minus negative 6 is going to make x to the 12. When I deal with the y's, I've got 7 y's divided by 3 y's. So 7 minus 3 makes y to the 4th. And then when I do the z's, z to the negative 2, z4. So negative 2 minus 4 makes z to the negative 6. And so my fraction's a little bit wonky, but that is how we would do it. So let's do the same thing over here. 16x to the 9 over 28x4 y11. So I'm going to start with the numbers. 16 over 28. The greatest common factor between those is 4. So I'm going to divide them both by 4. 16 divided by 4 makes 4. 28 divided by 4 makes 7. 9 minus 4 for the x's is going to make x to the 5th. And you'll notice that there's no y on the top. So I can't do anything with the y's. The y to the 11th is just going to stay on the bottom. I can't do anything with it. When I have an exponent to another exponent, multiply the exponents. And these guys take place when we have parentheses, right? So let's start. We're going to do everything to the 4th. So 5 to the 4th is 625. And I promise that's just calculator magic. I have 3 x's 4 times. So that's 3 times 4 is x to the 12th. And then I have 4 y's 4 times. So that's going to be y to the 16th. All right, let's keep moving on. Negative 3 squared is going to be 9. Calculator magic. I have 7 x's twice. So that's x to the 14th. 7 times 2 makes 14. I have 9 y's twice. So that's y to the 18th. And then I have 12 z's twice. So that is z to the 24th. So down here, you might have noticed that some of the exponents were negative. Negative exponents jump to the other side of the fraction. So if you see a negative exponent on the top, jump it to the bottom. If you see a negative exponent on the bottom, jump it to the top. If there isn't a fraction, we're just going to make one and put it on the bottom. So here, I'm just jumping around numbers. You'll notice the 4 doesn't have an exponent, so it's going to stay where it's at. The x to the third is a positive exponent, so he's going to stay where he's at. The y to the negative 7, well, that's a negative, and it's on the top, so it's going to jump to the bottom. And when it jumps to the bottom, it becomes positive. And then down here, I see z to the negative third. It's on the bottom, so I'm going to jump it to the top and make it positive. So that way we can fix all of the negative exponents. Over here, you'll notice there isn't a fraction at all. So we're going to make a fraction. The 5x to the 13 is going to stay on the top because that doesn't change at all. The y to the negative 9 kind of lives on the top to begin with, but it's going to jump to the bottom in order to become positive. So down here, I have an ACT question, and it kind of ties everything together. What is the equivalent expression to 4a to the 4, b to the third squared, 2a squared, b negative 2? So let's start with this parentheses. So we're going to square everything on the top. So 4 squared is going to give us 16. A to the fourth twice gives us a to the 8th. B to the third twice gives us b to the 6th. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of it down here. I haven't messed with it. Okay, now I'm going to go through the division rules because I want to get rid of this fraction. 16 divided by 2, or reducing that fraction, turns out to be 8. Remember, if it's division, we're subtracting the exponent. So a to the 8th over a squared, 8 minus 2, makes a to the 6th. B to the 6th over b to the negative 2, 6 minus negative 2 makes b to the 8th. And that's it. So this guy is a. 8a to the 6th, b to the 8th.